Greetings from the video and welcome to this endurance series. So yeah, the next 6 days going to have a daily video from me all about anything to do with endurance, hopefully to help you kind of ride further and for longer. So today we're going to look at my different setups for doing long distance rides. So I've got two different setups. The first one that you're going to see is kind of like for my really longer distance. So I'd say anything from like 400 upwards. And then I'm going to show you the stuff that I take for like a 200 or a 300k ride. So that is where I kind of change. So between the 300 and 400, and that is because the 400 kind of goes overnight, so I need more stuff. This is the 400k setup. So same bike I use is the Ribble Endurance SL. Just fits perfectly to me. It's a carbon. It's just a brilliant bike. Love it. Super comfortable. And yeah, let's get on to the actual bags and what I take with me. So pretty much on all of my rides, I take this. It's a Toe Peak fuel tank in the large version. And I just always have that filled with like snacks, with my phone, with my charging stuff. I'm going to get onto that later on. But this is just a really good, and it's waterproof as well. So yeah, I just really like this bag just for easy access of stuff. The zip is really good on it. That sounds really silly, but when it's on top tube, sometimes some of the zips that you can get are kind of like a bit flimsy, but you can kind of do that with one hand, which is very important when you're riding a bike. So yeah, really like that bag. I also have this front bag, which is made by Outer Shell Adventures. I get asked so many times where this bag's from. And this is what I have for like other stuff that basically just doesn't fit in there. So I have all the stuff that I need easy access to. So I have my extra food in there. I'll have a lock, which I'll show you in a minute, which is the Hip Lock Z lock. I'll have my chamois cream in there. I'll have my actual toothbrush, so for when I'm stopping or if I need to brush my teeth, obviously if it's overnight. And yeah, just any kind of extra things that I need really quick access to, because I've done it before where you put stuff in the bag and it just takes longer to get out. You want stuff up front, easy access, and it also helps balance out the weight on the bike. So that is that bag. Also, this bag has got so many brilliant pockets. It's got ones on the front, ones on the side. So I always put like, if I need like electrolyte tablets, I always have them kind of easy access in there as well. So that is that bag. This bag is phenomenal. I am not sponsored by any of these bike bag brands. This is the tail fin. It is phenomenal. I know a lot of you have seen me use it and want a review of it. I will do a full-on review of it. Honestly, I love this bag so much. It just doesn't wobble, and that's why I've used it. You might think, oh, you don't want to use it, you know, unless you're bike packing. But even honestly, on a 400k, it's brilliant because you can just pack it down. You don't have to have it at full capacity. So yeah, I have this on there. This is carbon, so I don't actually think the bag weighs, like the whole setup weighs that much more than just having a huge rear pack mount. So yeah, that is what I have on there. And the thing that I really like about this is when you've got a big saddle bag filled with a load of stuff, it's really hard to, well, it's not hard, it's just more faffy to kind of get something out. Whereas this, you'll see, when you open it up, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like having a little, basket on the back because everything is so easily accessible. And so yeah, that is the setup for that. It's waterproof as well. It's light, it doesn't sway. You don't really feel like you've got anything extra on your bike when you've got it, obviously apart from the weight in there, but it just is a really good piece of kit. It is expensive, but it's just so good, so good. So that is the actual bag setup. I'm going to do a separate video on the lighting that I use because I think that deserves a separate video on its own. But I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I actually take with me now. So on the, when it's going to be overnight, I always take leg warmers. That is the actual hip lock that I take that's generally in there. It's basically a cable tie with a combination. So that's good for if you're just stopping and nipping to get something from supermarket. It's just a really good lock. What else? Essentials kit, so like toolkit. I've got a separate video on that. I'll leave a link to that below. Also, I take a rain jacket. This is the Rafa, I can't remember which one this is. It's a really good rain jacket. I'll find what it's called and I'll leave a link to it. But yeah, really nice rain jacket. Waterproof socks, just because you could just always do with a spare pair of socks in case you get wet. Over socks, because at night it does get cold. And then the final thing that I take, and this is like an essential for any overnight riding, is this. This is not cycling specific. This is a Patagonia micro puff hoodie. It is synthetic, I think it's Primaloft insulation, but honestly it packs down so small, it's really, really light. And honestly, this thing is like a sleeping bag. It's so warm. So I'll put it on for you, give you a little bit of a show. But yeah, honestly, I wear this when I'm riding through the night when it gets really, really cold. Again, not sponsored by Patagonia. In fact, I bought this in the sale, so it wasn't full price. But yeah, these are expensive jackets again, but so worth it. They're so, so warm. And yeah, I wear this through the night, or if it just gets chilly. I just think it's good to have at least 1 or 2 extra layers in case it does get cold, because when you're riding through the night, the temperature drops and you just don't want to be cold, because that just makes any endurance ride just miserable. So always make sure you've got enough to keep you warm. Honestly, love this jacket. So now I'm going to go on to the stuff that I take on maybe a 200 or a 300k ride. So, right, let me just take this back off. Honestly, I'll leave a link to this as well below. I know a lot of you asked me which one this is, so I'll leave a link to it. So this is the setup that I would take for, say, a 200 or a 300k ride, where you know, I'm going to do the ride in the majority part of the day, so there's not going to be any night riding. So this is the setup. So I've got the Toe Peak fuel tank again. Honestly, love this bag. So good just to have snacks in there, your phone in there, keys, anything that you need easy access to, really. But yeah, this is one of my favourite bags to use when I'm doing any kind of ride. And then the difference is, rather than using the tail fin, I just kind of use a small saddle pack. This is the Apadura race pack. They do it in a 5 and a 7 litre. I generally take the 5 litre. And in that I'll obviously have my tool repair kit, a pump, an extra layer, so a jacket or a gilet. And then I always try and make sure I've got a little bit of extra space in there in case I buy any food when I'm riding. So I'd always go on the side of having a little bit too much space than not enough. And I guess for me, the main requirement is I need somewhere to put my camera in case it rains. You're probably not going to have that issue, but I've got the camera that I'm filming on now. I generally have it on my back, but on endurance rides it does it sometimes kind of ache a little bit. So I always take enough space that I can actually fit my camera in there. But yeah, this has got a really good like setup on the back. It's got like reflective chevrons, so if it is dark, you know, lights are going to reflect on it. And it's also got really good little like, I don't know what you call them, like little pockets that you can clip a light onto, which is really handy. Just sits really nice. It's just a really firm, it doesn't really sway that much. You can do a lot of adjustment to make it really fitted to the frame. It's not fitted to the frame, sorry, fitted to the seat post. But yeah, I really like that bag. Ignore the lights and stuff. I'm going to do, like I say, I'm going to do a separate video on them and for the different types of distance and what I would use. But yeah, that is the actual main setup of the bags and what I take on those rides. So I didn't actually tell you how I charge stuff when I'm doing these long rides. So that there is a dynamo, and I've got the SP dynamo. And basically what that does is when you're riding, that is moving and it generates power. And then you'll see there's the cable that I've got fit that runs all up through the top, all up through there, and then into the top here. And then I have that linked to, well, either a light, which is this light, which I'm going to do a video about, or you can have it linked to like a USB charger. I've got the sine wave one, so that's basically just USB. And then you just basically plug in your phone or your Wahoo or, you know, whatever you need to charge as you're going. To be fair, on a 200 or a 300, the Wahoo, I've got the Wahoo Roam, doesn't need charging because the battery's really good on it. So yeah, that's just something that I would take on if it was longer than a 300. If it's anything less than a 400, I'll just take one of these Anchor power banks. But yeah, to be fair, the Wahoo, I don't need it on a 300. But I would take it just as emergency backup, just in case you need to charge your phone or anything. Let me know what you take. If there's anything else that you think I should take, or anything else that you take that you think would be useful for other people to know. And yeah, I guess I'll see you back tomorrow for another video on endurance riding. Are you going to do this without any cars coming past? Bloody hell, that's unheard of. Let me get my bag. Sorry, it's raining and my nose is running. I'll start that again.